All right, hello everyone. This is the dissertation proposal for EDU 720. My name is Dan from William Woods University, and here we go. So something that's interested me throughout the duration of this class, and it's kind of aligned with the number of assignments that we've had, has been credit recovery and high school students, particularly the at risk group of students, and how in a global pandemic with COVID, there's been a large number of expansions with online platforms, hybrid learning, in-person learning, things of that nature. So really, I'm just curious to look at the delivery methods of the content in addition to the materials. Really, overall, the structure, is it in-person, is it virtual, is it both? And really, overall, just how efficient that is, how useful that would be. When you look at a high school structure, what is the purpose of credits? Really, obtaining those credits gets you on track for graduation. So tying all of that together, you could largely say that the research question surrounds the efficacy of credit recovery and how that's going to impact graduation status. So you can see here that there's a series of potential research questions. First one would be, is there a relationship between completion of credit recovery programs for students and graduation rates? Take it a step further, I've kind of thought a little bit further ahead on this with the different testing methods that we would have. So a second question is there a difference between performance of students enrolled in online credit recovery courses and performance of students enrolled in in-person credit recovery courses when you think about graduation rates? Thirdly, is there a difference between male and female student graduation rates when these students are presented with online and in-person credit recovery opportunities? And then lastly, what is the effect of online and in-person credit recovery programs for high school students and graduation rates? So a number of different directions that I could go there. Obviously, this is somewhat hypothetical, but again, something that does interest me and something that's relevant with my current position to move forward with a dissertation topic. So as far as the selection of participants, we would look at Kearney High School students grades 9 through 12, so freshmen all the way through senior level. And we would look at students who have failed courses in which they're eligible to recover these credits through a system of credit recovery, whatever that may be. Currently, we have designated hours spent throughout the day in a teacher's schedule where they would teach, geometry, for example, credit recovery geometry, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That doesn't always shake out for every single subject area per se, but some teachers have built-in hours. We do have an after-school program as well. Obviously, credit recovery is extended to students in the summertime, so a number of different options for obtaining those credits in that manner. When you look at the participants and kind of how this is going to be structured, there is a potential for a longitudinal study. So we'll just say 3 to 5 years. A student who participates in credit recovery, their freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I think there has to be, in order for validity and reliability and all that, that we have to track that. And there has to be some sort of follow-up for every single year. We can't just do it on a one-year basis and call it good. So really throughout that, you identify those at-risk students within the group, you track credits, you track progress, graduation status, etc., throughout the duration of their high school careers. As far as the sampling procedures, I would look at purposive sampling. So, and again, it goes without saying, it's pretty self-explanatory that that is purposeful, that only the students who failed those courses in which they're eligible to recover will be the participants of that study. So as a baseline, I looked at some data from the fall of 2020 in terms of credit recovery eligible courses and students. We had 291 total Fs for the fall of 2020 for those semester courses. 100 of those Fs are eligible to be recovered. So that's 100 Fs, 100 courses, not necessarily 100 students. So overall, 34% of our fall 2020 Fs are eligible to be recovered through a credit recovery system. I think that's important because you look at what's eligible, what's not eligible. That gives you an idea of numbers as far as how many students are going to be participating within a given program. As far as instrumentation, this is a little bit I don't want to say easier, but there is some simplicity to it simply because looking at the number of Fs, looking at grades, credits, you name it, a lot of that would be considered recorded data through the use of PowerSchool. You could also use other methods of student information systems. You wanted to take it a step further and go down the line of just overall perception in terms of experience that students would have within a credit recovery system, or maybe even staff would have within a credit recovery system. You could go ahead and you could survey those students and staff and really dive into that piece there. As part of this instrumentation, you would also want to use the SPSS software and run the appropriate tests to get some insight into those relationships, differences, etc. And then also, if applicable, student demographics and other miscellaneous information may also be useful. A little bit repetitive data collection. We're looking at recorded data via PowerSchool, final grades, credits, tracking, and then also that potential survey data from students and or staff. You know, a very popular way, very simple way to do it would be to look at, you know, agree, disagree, whether they believe that the rigor of the material was strong or weak. As far as that rating system, that would give you that quantifiable data that you could really tie in to give you an idea of perception overall. As far as the data analysis, there were really three potential testing methods used that I think would be relevant and would actually be useful. Obviously, the correlational would be looking at the measuring of the relationship. So in this particular instance, is there a relationship between completion of credit recovery programs for students and graduation rates, whether that's a positive correlation, negative correlation, or undetermined. You also have a t-test, which would measure the differences between. So in taking this a step further again, is there a difference between performance of students enrolled in online credit recovery courses and performance of students enrolled in in-person credit recovery courses in terms of graduation rates. Last one here with multiple regression, we're looking at those predictor variables and how that could possibly result in change or help predict change. What is the effect of online and in-person credit recovery programs for high school students and graduation rates? So in summary, there's a lot of potential directions that I could go here, and maybe as we progress throughout this program, I can help to maybe streamline some of this stuff a little bit easier, but overall the data will be explored to help determine the impact of credit recovery systems on graduation status for high school students. The recorded data from PowerSchool and other student information systems will be utilized. And then lastly, the analysis of this data will be conducted by using the following testing methods: correlational, t-tests, and multiple regression. So hope you enjoyed this presentation. Again, it's something that's of interest to me. Looking forward to diving into it here in the very near future. Have a good one.